now, Superintendent Ed Fletcher with Monmouth-Roseville School District. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
How's the summer going?
Well, I feel like we're in Florida. I'm just waiting for the sand and palm trees and beach waves. But other than that, it's busy. It's really busy for us in the summer. So once school stops and the kids leave, we're starting projects. We're rocking and rolling on all that kind of stuff. So
Yes, and you have summer school going on at Harding?
yeah, I have summer school at Harding. We have some summer school classes going on at the high school for high school kids for credit recovery. And so, yeah, those are, but they're in the ag room because the high school is off limits because of the HVAC project. And so Harding was really the only other school. I mean, we could have had it at Central, but they're getting ready to have a roof project start. So lots of stuff going on.
Yeah, and I think you've got stuff at the junior high as well?
Yeah, junior high and Lincoln are having all the asbestos tile removed and it'll be replaced. So it's a lot of things moving and shaking right now. In addition to that, we have the all-weather tracks getting resurfaced. So that was time for that to just take it down all the way to the base, rebuild that up. At Sunny Lane, there's a parking lot going in across the street.
Okay.
So you'll see that there's the rock base is in there now, and so that's happening as well. So there's a lot of things happening, and that's why it starts as soon as school gets out, because if we don't get started then, we have a 2-month window to really get that stuff done, because then about the first or second week in August, and we've had to tell teachers, look, you cannot get into rooms until we have all of these things done. So we got to give the contractors the space that they need. So it's a lot of stuff going on this summer.
Okay. And you had your regularly scheduled school board meeting last night?
We did. We had a lot of things on the agenda, but I updated the board on the projects I just mentioned. Talked to the board about needing bus drivers. So if anyone's interested in being a bus driver, please call me. Call Jim Kane down in Roseville. We're short drivers, and we're always looking for them. We have some that are in in the process of getting their license, but getting in the process and actually getting it are two different things. So talked to the board also about our madrigal singers. We were informed that they get to perform at the Illinois Music Educators Conference in April of in 2024 in January. And I was there last year for a part of that conference, and you have 500 plus music educators who are great at their craft, who heard our singers sing and said, "Hey, we want you to come sing for us." So that another feather in the cap of the choir program and Mr. Ferry and our fine arts department.
Okay, fantastic.
The biggest thing we talked about, other than that, was the solar array. So I know solar it's on the tip of everyone's tongue, it seems like now, and we have been doing our due diligence. The last 2 meetings, we've had some representatives from QFB Energy, they're our energy consultant that we use to try to get the lowest price for electricity and natural gas, and Ideal Environmental out of Iowa, and really talking about solar. How do you finance solar? What's the best path for the school district? So we've looked at a price purchase agreement, we've looked at lease options, we've looked at a cash purchase agreement. And so where we've seemingly settled in on is a cash purchase option. We'd have 2 ground arrays, one at Lincoln and one at the junior high, which would offset 100% of our electricity costs for those buildings. We look at a roof array at Central, and I don't have those numbers in front of me. I think that was about 76% of their solar cost. Actually, it's 100% also at Central. Harding would be a roof array. Willits, my office would have a ground array and a roof array, and the high school would have a ground array in the parking lot and a roof array. So what the reason we looked at the cash purchase option is there are a lot of incentives available out there now, especially for school districts to move in this direction. And with the electricity savings that I just mentioned and those incentives, we feel, and the cash flow projections show that we could pay for this project. Even though we have to front the money, it would pay for the project itself over the life of 12 years.
How much will it cost?
About $3.5 million.
Holy moly.
Yep, it's a lot of money.
$3.5 million for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buildings?
Yep, and the arrays in the buildings.
Oh, wow.
On the buildings. So
I wondered how much this cost. I wasn't sure.
there's upfront money, but at the end, at the end of the useful life of the array, there's about $5 million extra dollars that we save.
Okay.
So that return on investment it's hard to ignore. But it's kind of like, if you remember the old cartoon Popeye, I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. It's we got to front the money.
And 12 years is when you make your money back.
Well, starting from that 12th year,
okay,
the savings are $250,000 to $300,000 a year to the school district.
Okay.
For the next 15 years. I mean, actually, the next 17 years.
Okay, take me back. So $3.5 million, and we have 12 years, and that money is
where we're making payments.
Uh-huh.
But the savings from the payments, or from the electricity savings,
sure,
and the incentive money will make those payments.
Gotcha.
So we're always cash flow positive. There's one year where we're not cash flow positive, but other than that, it's cash flow positive.
Okay.
But then in year 13, you start to see the payments are done, and you're solely realizing the savings on the electrical array.
Gotcha. And how long do the arrays last? The panels themselves, or these arrays?
After 25, they're rated for 20 at the 25th year. They have 80% of their electric capacity retained. After that, it just depends.
Okay.
That's what the research says. Of course, I mean, I'm sure there are people say that, well, it's less than that or more than that. Who knows? But that's, that's what that's what the specs say.
Okay. And who knows? You could have different types of solar panels. I don't know.
There's all kind. I don't pretend to understand the technology and of the panels themselves. The cost is significant, but once we were able to look at the savings and look at the incentives, it's hard to put that much money up front. But when you see when you see that it's paying for itself, it's kind of hard to ignore.
Sure. Yeah, and if you look down at that calendar in front of you there, I think tomorrow, do we have the Berglunds down for tomorrow?
Friday.
Mm-hmm. So Friday, we're going to get to learn a lot. We need to call an expert. So with the solar field going up west of town here, so we're going to learn a lot more about this, and we're glad because a lot of people are talking solar. So what does it mean? How do you do it? And you're getting a taste of that. United already did it too, so they're starting to look at school districts all throughout Illinois.
Yeah. So when we looked at the price purchase agreement, which what they'll say to you is, all right, you're going to buy your electricity for this many cents per kilowatt hour, and that you'll make some small payments, but that's where you're going to see your savings.
Sure.
So the idea. So when we did that, we anticipated our current per kilowatt hour cost is about 7 cents a kilowatt hour. So we anticipated at least getting that, because they send this basically out to auction. If you're going to do a price purchase agreement, because someone else, meaning investors, would front the money for the project.
Gotcha.
And they would get paid back with payments over for 20 years. But when we went out to auction for that, our rates came back in some buildings twice of what we're currently paying. And so it made no sense for us to do a price purchase agreement, pay twice of what we're already paying, and not see and still see some savings. But there was a whole lot more cash flow negative years in the price purchase agreement, because you're doubling the cost. You're essentially doubling your cost for a certain amount of time. So for us, I was like, well, the price purchase agreement makes no sense for us. And so I'm sure that there are different solar programs. There were some a couple of years ago. There are some now. They're all a little bit different. And so the rules are a little bit different. So what one school district does or what one entity did years ago, those rules may not apply now, because they apply to the new programs that are available.
Gotcha. Well, at least you had a lengthy discussion. And what's the next step for this idea?
Well, so now we know what our locations would be. I gotta speak to a couple principals to make sure that where the proposed ground arrays will go fits the use of the school, and then they start site designs. And so And then in the interim, we sent a copy of the contract to the district attorney to say, take a look at this. What are the pros or cons? What are the things that we need to, do we need to consider changing anything? And, then we'll circle back to this in August.
Okay.
But the thing to note is if we do not, because these are competitive programs, if we do not get all the incentives, we will not move forward with the array. So the only way this works is if we get all the incentives.
Okay. Anything else on the agenda last night?
That was really it. I mean, we spent a good portion of it talking about that, talking about the different projects that are going on. Just getting ready. We have one more month before we get ready. Kids are coming back in August, so it moves really fast.
Quit.
I know. I saw back.
You're
to
the second person. Nancy was talking that way too.
I just saw some back to school. Someone sent me an email. Back to school specials. I'm like, I haven't left yet.
It's
I haven't even
June.
got any time off. I can't. It can't be back to school yet.
Yeah.
Give me some time.
Enjoy the summer.
We will. My family and I will get away for a little bit. My wife is listening today. She never gets to listen because she's always at work. So I want to give her a little shout out that she's listening to the radio today. So she's probably going to kill me now that I did this, but that's all right. So anyhow, I told her I was going to be on the radio, and she said, "Well, tell me what time." And so if she's listening, I love you, honey.
There you go. Good morning, Mrs. Fletcher.
Yes, good. There you go. She's literally going to kill me now.
That's funny. Well, y'all have a good summer, and
We will.
We'll talk to you again next month.
Yep. See you then.
Superintendent Ed Fletcher with us on 1330 WRAM and FM